Hello, world. Welcome to another episode of Golf Subpar. Colt Knost and Drew Stoltz just wrapped up the Corrales Punta Cana Championship Sleeves. Hudson Swafford, big Hud, my boy.
Punta
got the dub.
Cana. Absolutely. Good to see Hud back on the board, dude.
All right, well, let's get to our guest. Very special guest for this week. Our man, Chez Reavie.
Yes, the ball striking machine.
Dude, he's a robot. I play with him a lot when we're home. It really bothers me.
It'll make you feel like shit about your game quick playing with him. He's the only guy, too, and I've played a bazillion rounds with him. You have, too. He's the only guy. We'll go out and play. Like, let's say it's 2 days before he leaves for a tournament. He'll go out and play. He'll hit 14 fairways, 17 greens. The one he misses is on the fringe, and shoot 65. Next day, like, all right, you want to play at noon tomorrow? Yeah, sure. Show up the next day. 13 new clubs. New set of irons, new driver, new 3-wood, the whole thing. I was like, did you not just shoot 65, not miss fairway or a green yesterday? He's like, yeah, but I think I can get an extra half-mile-an-hour ball speed with this driver. No, he tinkers more than anyone.
He's not scared to tinker. That is for sure. But, man, the guy, it would be hard to find someone that really honestly hits it better than him. He's not the longest guy, but, I mean, God, it's the same ball flight every single time. Just absolutely stripes it. Every iron goes right at the flag. It's fun to watch. He's a quiet, shy guy.
Yes.
So we're going to try to open him up a little bit.
Yes. There's layers, but you just got to peel back the onion with Chester.
There is, but what a career he's had. I mean, for a guy that's just, probably not that well known in the golf world, but just sneaky, just gets it done every single year. Finished 8th in the FedEx Cup last year.
Bulldog, like we talk about some of the guys, hates losing more than anything. And if he was a kid coming out of college right now, you would not point at him and be like, there's the guy that's going to go have a long career on the PGA, because he's not the prototypical guy that you see on the PGA Tour right now. He has to do it in different ways. He has to be accurate. He hits great irons, and he kind of goes as his putter goes. And we saw him just last year. He just won on the PGA Tour. You can still get it done like that. It's harder. You just got to be better at everything else across the board, and he pretty much is.
And if you ever get a chance to play golf with Chez Reavie, if you're a guest of Chez Reavie's and you end up beating him, don't count on having lunch afterwards, because he's going home.
Yeah, you better get that handshake on the 18th green, because you might not see him after. Man does not take losing well, but that's a sign of a champion.
Yep. I totally agree with you. Well, let's get to it. Here's Chez Reavie on Golf Subpar.
All right, we got a ball-striking machine in the house, ladies and gentlemen. 2-time PGA Tour winner William Chesney Reavie is in the house. Chester, how we doing, brother?
Good, man. How are you?
Fantastic. William Chesney. Who calls you William? Anyone? Mom, dad?
No, my grandpa was the only one.
Oh, okay.
The first time I went to your house at Greyhawk, I went to the security gate, and I was like, I'm here to go to the Reavies. And they're like, William? I go, no, Chez.
No, dude.
And they're like, what? William? And I'm like, I have no idea. I have no idea where I'm going.
I'm in the wrong neighborhood.
I'm going to a guy named Chez's house. That's all I know.
Let me get out of here. Billy. What about Billy? Billy Reavie? Ever thought about that?
No.
It's got a little something to it.
Never got Billy.
You know what I mean?
Chez is such a cool name.
It is a cool name, and it's unique. Nobody's got it. You yell Chester anywhere on property, you know you're getting him. Well, thanks for being here, dude. Appreciate you doing this. I know you're just fresh off a week at the U.S. Open. Let's talk a little bit about that, because you just got back. We've been talking about it all week long. What was Winged Foot like? There's a ton of discussion around it, but what do you think about the place?
Yeah, it was really tough. It was really fair, but it was really tough. The greens are really undulated. If you hit it in the rough, I was chipping out. Bryson was knocking it on greens, but I was chipping out and making bogeys, so it was a short week for me.
When they chopped some of the rough off, Wednesday afternoon, did you think that hurt you, considering you're one of the straightest drivers of the golf ball on the planet?
Yeah, maybe a little bit, but then when I missed all the fairways on Thursday, I was kind of happy they did it. But I'd like the rough to be as long as it can be. So, if you hit fairways, you get rewarded.
When you were because we saw all the players posting things on, and it was like they were tossing balls in gently from a yard into the rough, and they were vanishing. Was it even playable at that point leading up into the week? Because we've speculated, we've talked about it on radio and stuff. But could you potentially advance a ball to the green from that stuff?
No, not at all. It was really tough. The reason they cut it down though is that they wanted guys to feel like they could maybe knock it on the green and not be sure, to kind of give them another option, whereas the majority of the time they weren't going to. They were going to make more doubles than they would have, earlier if they just chipped out and gave themselves a wedge and try to save par.
I think the thing that bothers me the most is Monday, Tuesday, all the talk is you got to hit the fairway. You can't play from the fairway. You can't play from the rough. And then they go out and they change the golf course a little bit, and 40% of the field, on average, hit the fairways. No one was hitting it. So obviously, if you're Bryson who can hit it 330, you're fine. It's better to be 330 in the rough than 280 in the rough.
100%. And and the tricky thing there they didn't talk a whole lot about is when you get a dog leg, the fairway would slope away from the dog leg. So you'd hit one down the right center of the fairway on a dog leg left, and it'd kick right and roll just into the rough. So I mean, that part I think is tough, but that's part of a U.S. Open, and that's why they make the fairway so firm.
For a guy like you, who is one of the straightest drivers of the golf ball, did you see that course? Like, these are almost too narrow. Like, these are if they're so narrow that I can't hit them, like nobody's gonna hit them. And now these guys are just gonna send it as hard as they can.
Yeah, I mean, on Tuesday and Wednesday, to be honest with you, I hit the ball really well, and I really didn't hit it in the rough very often. So I was like, oh, this is fine. I can maybe play here. This will be great. And then Thursday came around, and I missed all the fairways and chipped out. And then I was like, okay, I really understand what these guys were talking about on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Like, when that happens, is that something that, like, is it nerves, or is it just, this is golf, and some days it's good and some days it's bad?
Yeah, it was just it was golf. It was, my feels were great coming off Napa. I played well there and played well Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I just started missing it right off the tees on Thursday, and I didn't know why. And I figured it out after the round. I was just kind of moving off the ball a little bit and getting my path too far to the right. But when I was on the golf course, I mean, I tried everything. I even aimed more left. I tried to shut the face down in my downswing, and I look up, and it's still going just far enough right to go into the rough.
I mean, the PGA Coach of the Year, PGA Coach and Teacher of the Year, Mark Blackburn, was there. I mean, y'all got to develop some hand signals or something.
Yeah, right.
There's no gallery out there, just a little, this is what you're doing.
Yeah, I know,
Figure that
right?
stuff out.
But I think he was even surprised, because my warm-up went great, and like I said, Tuesday, Wednesday was great, and so when he was watching me, he was like, what is going on? Why are you missing it right so much? And then we got on the range, and 10 minutes on the range after the round, I started hitting it straight again.
Crazy game.
When you showed up at Winged Foot and you saw the course setup and the rough being as tough as it was, is that a golf course that excites you? Like, all right, this is for me. This is built for, I'm the straightest guy out here. I'm one of the best iron players. This is the type of spot where I will thrive.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely felt that way. But, like Colt said, golf can humble you real quick. And, on Thursday after about 10 holes, I was exhausted just, trying to figure it out, trying to chip it back in the fairway, trying to hit wedges up there and save some pars.
Well, it's just something you haven't seen all week. Like, you're going through your week and you're like, oh, I'm striping it. I'm hitting fairways. I know how to play from this stuff. And then you're like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, how far can I advance this out of the rough? What will give me an angle to maybe be able to save a par? And yeah, it was a totally different animal.
Going
Thursday.
into the week, though, I mean, I don't know how much of the coverage you watch leading in or how much you read about any of it, but like, it was very well known. Bryson said, I'm going to hit driver on every single hole. I'm going to send it up there. I don't know if you did hear that. What did you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, Bryson says a lot of stuff, and I mean, you hear it, and you definitely know he's going to go out there, and he's added so much distance, and when the rough was like that on Tuesday, Wednesday, I was like, wow, he's going to have his hands full. But then he went out there and he just proved that what he wanted to do would work. And I think a lot of it too around the greens, his short game was great. He made a lot of great putts, a lot of great up and downs. So he didn't hit as many greens necessarily as I think he could have, but for him, he knew that if he had a wedge in his hand instead of a 9-iron or 8-iron or 7-iron, then he had a better chance to hit the green.
Okay, obviously you've been on the PGA Tour for a very long time, around 13 years. You've seen how this game has started to evolve, and is not one of the longest guys out there. Does it kind of frustrate you, or is it just, you know what, this is what happens, I'm going to have to deal with it?
Yeah, I don't let it frustrate me. I mean, I just have to play to my strengths, and, I'd be lying to you if I told you I wasn't trying to, add some speed as well, but I'm never going to have the speed Bryson has or Dustin or Rory or those guys. So I have to play to my strengths and just continue to hit fairways.
Would you like to know what your coach Mark Blackburn, what analogy he used with you?
Oh, yeah, the guy he compared you to?
Floyd Mayweather.
You heard that?
God, I didn't hear it, but I guess it. I hear it from him all the time.
I almost fell out of my chair. I didn't know what he was talking about.
We brought you up like in this podcast with him, and he's like, Chez Reavie's a lot like Floyd Mayweather. And we I think before he could get another, we were like, are you? That was not the guy I was thinking you're going to compare him to.
But the analogy does make sense.
Once he explained it made a little more sense.
Just keep jabbing away.
Yeah.
I hear jabbing away at least 3 times a day from him out there. Just keep jabbing away. Just, don't try and do anything crazy.
Move.
Yeah, exactly.
But isn't it, in your opinion, do you think the way golf technology has gone with the equipment and everything, it's benefited the long guys way more than it's benefited you?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we were in Charlotte, I don't know, a year or two ago, and TaylorMade brought out some of their old, first metal wood that they made, and I stepped up with it, and I hit it just as straight as I hit mine now, maybe not quite as far, but I still hit it just as straight. So, that doesn't benefit me, whereas these guys can build so much speed, and they would have a hard time hitting that club in today's game.
Yeah, like I would always, when I was with I'm with Callaway, when Callaway would bring out a new driver, they'd be like, oh, we're seeing on average, 12 yards longer. And I'm like, well, I'm about to bring that down because I guarantee it probably goes 0.2 yards further, if anything. It used to drive me nuts. I'm like, why can mine not pick up 12 yards, but yet the guys that already hit 300, they pick up 12 yards?
Yeah, it's exactly right. I mean, it's just built for guys who have a lot of speed, so their mishits, they still have just as much ball speed when they don't hit it out of the center. And, and it's just more forgiving for them so they can swing as hard as they can at it.
I hate them.
All that club manufacturing bullshit. It's like it's 10 yards further. If you believe that, they've been saying that for the last 10 years. Every driver is 10 yards long. You should be 100 yards longer than you were a decade ago. You know,
Well,
what
the
I mean?
average dude at home that hits the sweet spot 1 out of every 47 times, yeah, he probably does pick up 10 yards.
Well, he should have picked up 100 then over the last decade, because every new driver that's trotted out, it's like faster, better, more forgiving than the last one. I was like, dude, there's got to be a limit here at some point. But I want to ask you, the like consensus after what Bryson did up there at Winged Foot was, there was actually an article written on it. It was said, quote, "The U.S. Open as we know it is dead." Do you actually believe that after seeing what Bryson did? Are we just overreacting to one guy who had a great week and played really good golf, by the way, not only off the tee but everywhere else, and we're like, everyone chill out, this is a jump to conclusion?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're jumping to conclusions. I mean, Bryson went out there and, like you said, he played great. He managed the golf course well. He managed his mistakes really well. And under the pressure, I mean, he just played amazing golf. The golf course was really hard. And, I mean, I think it's just an overreaction. You just need to applaud him for playing so well.
Yeah, and by the way, if you look at it, like everything's made about his distance. He wasn't even in the top 5 in driving distance last week. He ranked 7th in driving distance last week. And everyone's like, you got to Bryson-proof it and do all this stuff. It's like, dude, he wasn't even the longest guy out there. Is some of what the other aspects of his game being overlooked in terms of like why he was 6 under and nobody else was under par?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, his short game must have been amazing. I mean, I didn't watch
He scrambled the shit out of
He was
it.
second in strokes gained around the green.
Yeah, and that's really why he won the U.S. Open, right? Because chipping around those greens was brutal. I mean, the greens alone were brutal. Making putts was really tough. And it just shows you how great his touch is around the greens when he has that much speed with a driver.
When I think of the U.S. Open, I think of guys like you, though, the way they play. You look back to last year at Pebble Beach. By the way, you made me a lot of cash that week. Thank you. wanted to thank you personally. But if you were going to design a U.S. Open setup, or even pick a golf course for Chez Reavie to compete at and have a chance to win, what would it be?
You know, I think firm, fast golf courses are great. Obviously, golf courses that have real high rough, that's great. And you just look at a place like Colonial, right? The golf course is not long. You know, they don't grow the rough up crazy. And what's the winning score there every year? I mean, it's not very low.
It's been single digits before.
Yeah, exactly. And so, you know, when you talk about Bryson proofing a golf course, what are you going to do, make it longer? Like they tried to Tiger proof Augusta for Tiger. I mean, they just played more into his hands at the time. And so I think, you know, they just need to figure out that length isn't the solution, that there are other ways that they can make it tough.
First off, what they should do with Tiger is let him win every single week because it brings more money to everyone.
Yeah, 100%.
Let's set up a golf course that works for him.
You just hit 7-iron on every hole. That's all you do every single time. And you got to move it both ways.
Let's go back to the beginning, though, a little bit, okay? You went to Arizona State, won the pub links at Arizona State. I want to talk a little bit. First off, were you a highly recruited guy coming out of high school?
Yeah, I mean, I was in the top 20 in junior ranking, and I always wanted to go to Arizona State. Growing up here, that's when Phil was at Arizona State, and they were great, and he was my idol. And so if I could go there, that's where I was going to go.
Wow, I've never heard anybody admit that Phil was their idol.
Dobson Ranch.
Yeah.
Or Dobson High School. What is it?
Dobson Ranch Golf Course is where I
Ranch,
grew up.
stand up. Chez put him on the map.
Obviously, Arizona State's had legends come out of that program. Who were some of the other guys on your team?
On my team, so my freshman year, I played with Paul Casey. I played with Jeff Quinney. I played with Matt Jones. Played with Jen Park. So I had a lot of good players.
Just everyone that makes it on tour that goes out of there. Who was the guy? Because you're obviously a team. You want to win, and you guys won a ton. But who is the guy on that team that you're like, I want to make sure I don't lose to this guy? Everyone's got one in college.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. They're honestly all of them. I mean, I wanted to beat all of them. Paul Casey, I mean, he had won everything he can possibly win. He was a senior my freshman year, and so I wanted to play as much as I could with him because I knew that's what would make me better.
Was he a bully to you when you were
No,
a freshman?
he and I got along great. He treated me great, and it was
mad
funny.
at Paul right now, by the way. He said some bad things about me on air.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, he did. He threw a little jab at Colt on an interview, and Colt's not taking it too
No, I
well.
didn't take it very well.
Let's shun. We're going to shun Paul starting now. Actually, he's still in with me, but he's out for Colt. Were you there with? You weren't there with Perez at all, were you?
No, he was gone.
Because he
before
kind
I-
of like bullied. I wouldn't say bullied. They ended up becoming close friends. But when they first got there, he and Paul kind of like.
Well, are
had
you
a little
surprised
thing.
by that?
No,
Okay,
zero.
That's Pat.
Yeah.
Zero.
I love it. But you won the pub links while you were in college, by the way. Same. Shout out.
Hey.
But
oh,
you
never
didn't win.
mind.
It earned you a trip to the Masters. But first off, I want to talk about the finals of the pub links because you played a golfing legend in the finals. Danny Green, which if you're a big golf fan, you know who Danny Green is. He's a legend around the amateur game. You won in 38 holes.
Yeah, one extra.
What was it like playing that guy? And good Lord, have you ever seen an uglier move with the golf ball?
Yeah, you know, you watch him swing, you're like, wow, okay, I'm going to beat this guy 9-8, you know, and then he starts making birdies and getting everything up and down, and you know, he's a tough competitor and he's a tough guy to beat.
He was
He was the gatekeeper of that type. Like at that age, back when Chez was doing that, like he was like, you knew he was going to be there at some point, and he's going to be a tough out. It looks like complete shit, but it was like, I'm going to have to go through this guy at some point. He doesn't give anything away.
Yeah, he was a guy. I mean, the interviews the night before, he's like, I've played Augusta, I've played the Masters, I've won. I think he won the Mid-Am or something, and he turns up the next day, he's got an Augusta hat on, Augusta shirt on, thinking he's going to remind me that it's the Masters is at stake.
I didn't know we were playing for the Masters.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on.
What's that match like though? Because the pub links, you have to win it, right? To
Yeah.
get in the U.S. Amateur, if you make the finals, you get in. But pub links, you got to win it. Is that pressure like weird at that point? Like it's either kind of all or nothing. Either win, I'm pub links champ in Augusta, or nothing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know what you're going to get, and so you just go out and you play your butt off.
Well, talk to us about playing Augusta as an amateur, because obviously turned that down, which was stupid.
Smart.
So take us through that week a little bit. How special was that? Who did you play with? And did you stay in the Crow's Nest and all that?
Yeah, stayed in the Crow's Nest, which was awesome. They could bring you food and milkshakes and whatever you want all the time.
Sold.
24 hours. Yeah, I mean, it was heaven. It was awesome. I showed up. I played a practice round with Ben Crenshaw and Jerry Pate, which was awesome, with Tim Jackson, who's another amateur legend. It was just an awesome week. Played with Adam Scott in the par 3 contest, and it was everything you can dream of and more.
You made a little hoopty one on a par 3 on the par 3 course, but it was after I think you hit it in the water.
Correct.
Okay, so a hole in one, but with an asterisk.
Right. It was a good par.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the Crow's Nest like though? We had Ricky on here. He talked about it earlier, but that's a cramped quarters. Who all was in there with you?
It is. Let's see. Tim Jackson was up there. Michael Hoey was up there I think he's from Ireland. Who else was up? Ricky didn't stay up there. He was big time. He rented a house or something.
Of course, diva. What a little princess.
Yeah, I think it was Ricky who won that year. Who else was there? There's a guy from Northern California.
Is it like if someone snores next to you, like you might not sleep? Like it's that tight up there?
100%.
That's a problem. I feel like here's arguably the biggest week of your life, and if like numbnuts over here has a sleep apnea or whatever, like I'm not gonna get any sleep before my first round of the Masters.
Yeah, I mean they aren't bedrooms, so it's literally one room like this room, and then they just put some partitions that don't even go all the way to the ceiling or the floor. It's almost like a dressing room type situation. But then you walk in and the pictures are amazing, and you just know it's been there forever, and you know who slept there and stayed there, and it's awesome. I would never not stay in the Crow's Nest if I was an amateur.
Yeah, of course. Cool. Colt, you could have had that.
I know I could have.
You snore though.
No, I
You
don't.
would have ruined it for everyone.
I'm a gentle sleeper. Let's go into hibernation. Shut up. So, can you say, looking back to, obviously that was a long time ago, first tee Thursday of the Masters as an amateur.
Yeah.
Arguably the most nervous you've ever been?
Oh, by far. So I was actually putting on the putting green. I'm playing with Tom Watson and Billy Mayfair.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I'm putting on the putting green, and I'm warming up. I'm fine. I'm putting. I'm fine. And then they call us to the tee, and my whole body goes numb. And Tom's putting next to me, and we're walking to the tee, and I look at him. I'm like, Tom, I can't feel anything in my body. I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to hit this tee shot. And he put his arm around me. He's like, oh, don't worry, Chez, I'm nervous too. And I kind of stopped. I'm like, how many times have you won here? You're such a liar. You're not nervous. But it kind of broke the ice and gave me just enough feeling in my hands to chop it down the fairway.
Was he cool?
I hit in the fairway, but I probably hit it 240 yards or something.
That's okay. That's a stripe. It's a stripe, dude. Yeah. What are you talking about? Nice hit. Nice little poke, especially back in that age.
Now you would have like 270 into that hole.
Yeah, exactly.
3-wood and a wedge. Like, what was it like playing with Watson those first 2 days? Was he talkative? Did you guys chop it up, or were you?
Yeah, we talked. He treated me great. I mean, he couldn't have been nicer. When I'm putting out on the greens, he would wait for me, be on the green. I mean, he couldn't have been more of a gentleman towards me at all. It was funny though. We were on, what hole was it? It was 15's a par 5, 14, where it has that big false front. And so we both hit it in the hill and it comes off the front, and we're like not even a foot from each other. He's going first, and I'm looking, I'm like, oh, I'm going to putt this, I'm not going to chip it, a tight lie, I'm no chance. And he goes up and he chips it up there to tap in range. And I'm like, I'm still putting it. And I putted it, and I didn't get all the way up the hill, and it came back and went behind me. And he kind of chuckled like, you should have chipped that, kid. I showed you exactly how to do it.
Yeah, where the hell were you on that one, Tom? Maybe coach me out of that, bro. You know what I mean? I'm a rook here.
I'm sure that was an incredible
You did play the
experience.
weekend, but what do you do after you? All right, so you missed the cut as an amateur, not a big deal. Everybody does it. What do you do? Do you hang around for the weekend, or what's the rest of the week look like?
Yeah, so I stayed. So Billy, I asked Billy, I was like, hey, man, should I stay? And he's like, yeah, absolutely stay. You can practice, hit balls. He's like, enjoy the week. Don't run out of here early because you missed the cut. So I stayed and practiced and just chipped and putted and went out and walked and watched some golf and just enjoyed the rest of the week.
Sleeves would have shown up right when the leaders are getting to the range, warmed up right next to him.
Hey,
just so people think he might be in contention.
Hey, Tiger, I got a funny story. Hold up real quick. Take a load off for a minute. You're not going to believe this.
I love it. Well, let's fast forward to your rookie year on tour, because what a year that was. 2008, you win. First off, RBC Canadian Open.
Good
make
win.
over $1.4 million. At the end of that year where you're just like, this shit's kind of easy. I got this. I'm just going to dominate out here for years to come.
Yeah, right. I mean, I was hoping for that, right? But you know it's golf and you can get humbled real quick. And so, yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed the year, but I just know how good all the guys are out there, and I just kept
You're way
working
too
hard.
humble. You got to
Dude,
spice
feel
it up.
free. This show is one of bravado.
Being
we
honest.
talk about being way better than we actually are. I mean, Colt and I make a living out of it.
Yeah, I
honestly.
tell this story. Like, I turned, so 2008 was my rookie year on the web tour, now Corn Ferry Tour. And I went out, won twice, finished like 5th on the money list.
These guys suck.
Dominant. I'm like, well, I'm gonna go to the PGA Tour next year and do the same thing, make about $3 million, and keep going. And I think I made like $220,000 the next year on the PGA Tour. Got humbled so fast. Back to Q school. Here we go.
Yeah. And speaking of that, you did go. Like you
Yes,
came out there,
this
you
is-
win right away. Then you go back to Q school. I think it was in 2012. You had to make a return to Q school after being a winner. Is there more pressure being that you came out right away and won? You're a rookie. You win on the PGA Tour. You've been at the top of the ladder already, and now all of a sudden, 4 years later, you're back at Q school trying to get your job back. Is there more pressure to keep your card once you've been there, or maybe get it for the first time?
That's a good question. I mean, I'd say the pressure's similar. I think the hard part is knowing how good it is on tour and how much fun it is and how great all the events are, and then knowing that you might not have that anymore. You feel a little bit more pressure because you want it more. You've kind of tasted it a little bit. Whereas when you've never been out there, it's always been a dream. You think it's going to be cool, but you don't really know what to expect. And so, you're just working hard to try and get there. But once you know you have it and you can possibly lose it, I think it's a little more.
Yeah,
nerve-wracking.
playing for $1 million a week and going down and being like, all right, now I'm playing for $100,000 a week. That's like a pretty significant change. I feel like it would be almost harder having had it already and then being like, oh, now I'm about to lose this potentially.
Yeah, it's just mainly, we practice and we work so hard, and you want to play against the best in the world. That's the ultimate challenge. And when you feel like you might not have that opportunity, it can be pretty upsetting at times.
And that Q school, you finished 22nd, I believe, to keep to regain your tour card for that year. How close was that coming down the stretch?
I made a 6-footer on the last hole to get my card.
No
Oh, my
shit.
God.
Oh
Yeah.
boy, how was that?
Did you
one?
know exactly where you stood?
Oh yeah, yeah.
You
I
knew
exactly where
6-footer.
I
This
was.
is do or die.
Yeah, exactly. Knew exactly what it was. It was actually the only week I've ever used a belly putter back when they were allowed.
Oh.
I switched to a belly putter right before
Finals.
Literally right at
That's
finals.
smart.
Yeah.
I like a huge switch right before
the only
finals. I'm a
switch,
fan
yeah.
of that. Cole had a similar situation. He had a little nail biter coming down
Oh
on
my
the
God,
last
I
hole.
puked on my
It was
face.
more than a nail biter. It was like a throw up on your
Yeah, I made
shoes.
double. It ended up making it on the number.
Cole, who's hit 99% of the fairways the entire week, and
Yeah.
he's got the state of California to the left, hit it in the water. That
wanted
just
to make
shows
it
you what the
interesting.
nerves does to you, man. Like
Dude,
that
Nathan Green's a good
situation's so
friend. I
different.
made double, got him his card.
Right.
Yeah,
You're just
yeah.
helping people out. You're
That's
friendly.
what you
People
do.
helping people.
Friendly guy.
But tell the
dude.
people at home, like, first off, I still think there should be a Q school. There is one for the Corn Ferry Tour, but I still think it's so cool when a guy that can be, just picking up balls at a driving range can sign up for Q school and he can work his way through and get on the PGA Tour. Like, I still think that's so cool. Do you wish there was still kind of a Q school for like guys like that? I mean, look at Tommy Gainey, who made it through and it was an incredible
Right.
story.
George McNeil's a good one, right?
Yeah.
He was a club pro working in a pro shop, went to tour school, got his card, and I think he won his first year out on tour. Yeah, I mean, those stories aren't going to happen much now at all, really. I mean, at least the college kids still have a way, they can, get their starts and make enough money and get their card pretty quickly still. But yeah, I mean, tour school is great. I mean, it's fun to watch. It's fun to have good stories, the feel-good stories of the guys who come out and play well and get their card.
My
But
friends
you don't
at home,
get your like Anthony Kims and your DJs, the guys that just come out. I'm ready right now. Like they don't have to go to a year of the Corn Ferry Tour and play. Like, dude, I can play with these guys right now. It takes like a little longer, I guess, for them to get there, which isn't the end of the world. But you never know when you go down there what can happen. And it's like, dude, you can kind of lose it and get lost down there.
my friends at home always said the Monday of Q school was always their favorite event to watch all year, and I'm like, you are sick bastards.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Now
Like,
that
we
I'm
like
out of
watching
it,
guys who throw up on themselves, and then that was me one year. I'm like, did y'all enjoy that?
Yeah, was
'Cause
that
I
fun
didn't.
for you?
I was bawling my eyes out in the scoring trailer.
yeah, I remember I sent you a text, I think, after I found out you got in, and I was like, thank God, this is going to
my
be bad.
God.
I actually sent a text that same year. Eric Meyerdirk's a friend of mine. You know Eric?
Yeah.
He got through. This was one of my biggest mess ups, dude. I sent him.
You've
I
had a
forgot that it ended. I forgot that for whatever reason it was Sunday, which is after the 5th round, right? Monday's the ender, and I looked up on the ticker and he was in like 17th. Call it right. Tour card, bam! I was like, dude, Eric E, so happy for you, bro. Congratulations, well deserved. You're the man. All this stuff. And he's like, thanks, dude. One more round, and I was like, oh,
no.
shit! I just put the curse on the kid. If he had missed, I would have lost my. I would have. I don't know. If I ever would have.
still would've been
covered
the
from
same
it.
person.
Yeah, still, he would have gotten over it. Who cares?
All right. Well, we mentioned earlier you have 2 wins on the PGA Tour. You won the 2008 RBC Canadian Open, and then last year you won the Travelers Championship after finishing 3rd the week before at Pebble. But you also have 2 playoff losses, and I know those probably sting a little bit. 2011 in Boston, 2018 right here in your backyard at the Waste Management Phoenix Open. If you could go back can hit one shot over at either event, but you can only pick one, which one would it be?
Phoenix Open for sure.
What shot would it be?
My second shot in the playoff. I mean, it was a good number, a good spot. I mean, I should have made birdie, and I mean, I don't know. It stinks. I was excited to make the birdie to get into the playoff, and I think I was still too pumped up. I didn't calm myself down enough before we went back out, and I think that's
Explain. Was that the loudest roar you've ever heard, like for you when you made that putt on 18 to force a playoff with Gary Woodland?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's definitely, that's the most pumped up I've ever been on a golf course ever, and yeah, that's why I just wasn't quite prepared when we went back out. I was still too fired up.
I root for you all the time, but I've never rooted for you harder
against
when
Gary.
You win that playoff against Gary Woodland.
I know.
No one wants to see Gary.
I almost drove out there and did something stupid just so you could win for sure.
Take an axe to Gary.
I hate when Gary wins.
Is that one like harder? Not, like the pressure of that playoff, being that you are a local guy, and this is the arguably the biggest. There's the most people of any tournament on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, being a local kid here, I carried the signboards growing up for groups, and I always got to go to the tournament as long as my grades were good. I got to skip 2 days of school and go out there and do that, and so it's like a major for me. So to have a chance to win was great, and hopefully I'll get another chance.
And it's not a place that I would think would set up very well for you, but you've really found your way around TPC Scottsdale. Can you tell us the secret?
Yeah, I was just playing way too aggressive. I think part of it is I wanted to win so bad, and so I was just making way too many bogeys and doubles. And so the last few years, I've just really dialed it back, and I'll get aggressive at spots. But, it's crazy. Once I felt like I wasn't aggressive, whatever, I was 18 under or 15 under or whatever it was to get into a playoff, that's when I shot my lowest scores. So it's, that's kind of the key for me is to just play to my strengths there and not try and overdo it.
Yeah, and you look at all these guys on the PGA Tour now, they rely on analytics a lot and a lot on statistics. I know you work with a guy named Hortsey, who I'm a big fan of. Kind of explain like how that's changed throughout your PGA Tour career, and when did you start relying on these stats and analytics and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I started 3 years ago, maybe. Yeah, I mean, I kind of got to know him, and we were talking, and he just looked at my stats on his own. He's like, "Hey, man, you and I need to sit down and have a talk." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Well, you hit so many fairways, you hit so many greens." He's like, "How are you not finishing higher every week?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "You're being way too aggressive." And so we just kind of broke it down. And I mean, the first few weeks, he's like, "Look, if you've got anything over a 6-iron, just aim middle of the green." And I was like, "Are you serious?" And he's like, "Yeah." And so I did it. And, I forget what week that was. I want to say it might have been the PGA at Quail Hollow. And then I just started playing really well. And, my scores dramatically got better, but I didn't feel like I was doing anything different, technique-wise or anything. I was just playing the golf courses smarter.
So
is that Go ahead.
Well, for the people at home, because they're going to have no idea what we're talking about, so do you and Hortsey meet before each round and kind of discuss what the game plan should be? Because obviously there's some pins that are gettable, there's some that aren't, and they change each day. Mm-hmm. So when do y'all sit down and talk about this, or how does it work?
Yeah, so at the beginning of the week, I'll get an email of the golf course and, what holes to work on short game, what holes to be aggressive, what holes not to be aggressive. And then obviously that changes day to day. And so when I tee off late in the afternoon, I have all the live data from the morning round. So I know where all the bogeys are made, all the birdies are made. I know all of that information. And so if I do get it out of position, I know where around the green to try and get my golf ball to give me the best chance to get it up and down.
Imagine if you had this on the Jicks.
Yeah, on the Jickies, dude, this wasn't available on the Jicks. I had to dig it out of the dirt. I was like, oh, what, everyone's making double here? Perfect. I'll fire the 3-iron right at the left green when there's a lake to the left. Who cares, dude? You know what I mean? I've got to make tweets out here on the Jicks. But how many guys are using this? Like, are you unique in the sense that you're using all this data and stuff, or is this something?
There are a handful of guys who do it. I know Brant Snedeker was one of the first ones. He started a long time ago, 8 or 9 years ago, probably, with this guy. Billy Horschel uses them. There's been different people that have used him at different times, but I think he always has like 5 or 6 guys he works with.
So you get the data in the morning, like, hey, everyone's bogeying number 5, or tons of people are bogeying number 5. You get up to number 5, like, what does that mean to you? How does that change the way you play the hole?
Well, it just depends where they're making bogeys from, right? So I know, like, if all the bogeys are made from long right, then, if I'm between clubs, I'm going to take a shorter club and make sure I'm short left of the flag, stuff like that. And then, just what holes, like you'll see where people are 3-putting from, what the common problem is there. And so, if you do get it into a certain spot where a lot of guys have 3-putted, I'll know if they're running it by the hole or if they're coming up short. And so I'll kind of know, okay, this putt, it looks, it doesn't look quick, but I know it's quick because, 10 guys this morning hit it 8 feet by and 3-putted.
Do you watch the coverage in the morning when you're in the afternoon?
A little bit, but not a whole lot.
You don't?
No, just because I've got the data and, I don't like listening to the guys talk about golf and how these guys are messing up or
what if
or
it's
whatever.
me talking about it?
Yeah, sorry.
Then you just-
Incredible voice.
Then you tune in, you turn that volume
Yeah,
up.
turn it up
bro.
loud,
What's
right?
Colt saying?
Yes, exactly.
This is definitely
But
gonna help.
I mean, obviously, like stuff like that used to not be available. We got the green books now. We have TrackMan. We have all this. Do you think guys rely too much on technology sometimes?
100%. And, I've looked at Green's books and I kind of go back and forth. I don't use them a whole lot because I think it gets in my head more than anything else. And, it just confuses me and I don't commit to, my lines and stuff.
I hate them.
Yeah,
I think
don't
green
really
reading
do
is
it.
a skill.
That is bullshit. I don't like that those exist on the PGA Tour. Putting is an art, and if you can't, you shouldn't have a book that tells you exactly what everything do. That's part of the deal.
I mean, you still got to hit it, but the fact that there's a lot of putts out there. You're like, does this go left or does this go right? Like it's weird. And then you look at your book and you're like, oh, all the arrows are pointed to the left. Like, no, this is a skill. I read greens better than some people. I should have. I mean, I hit it 240. I have to have some advantage in this game. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, for guys who don't have that ability to read greens very well, it helps them quite a bit. I mean, some guys will even put practice greens in their yards, at a 1% slope, a 2% slope, 3% slope. And so they know kind of what that break looks like in their head. And then when they look at their book and they're like, oh, it's 2 or it's 2.5 or whatever, they can kind of see that. But for me, it just complicates things for me.
So you don't use it at all?
Not my caddy's always got one, and I'll look at it time to time. I've tried it a few times, but it doesn't seem to help.
Because there's some guys like Phil in his backyard. He's like, I got a 1 degree, 2 degree, 3 degree. I got holes. So I know as soon as I get on a golf course, if I have a 12-footer and it's a 2 degree slope, I know it's a cup out left or whatever, or vice versa.
Yeah, which is surprising for me, because he's so naturally talented with his hands, and he sees so many different shots around the greens that I think he would be better off if he didn't use them.
Yeah, he seems more like an artist and not a scientist, obviously.
Let me ask you this. So, obviously, golf is evolving. All sports evolve. We've talked about this, how, in the NBA, they didn't used to shoot 50 3-pointers a game, but now they do. In the NFL, they didn't throw it 50 times. It was I formation, pound it. Now golf is pretty much bomb and gouge, whether you like it or not. Do you think we'll see any young kids coming out of college or anything, or even out of amateur golf, that play golf the way Chez Reavie does in the near future?
No, I mean, I don't think so. If you do, it'd be very rare. I mean, because all these kids now have crazy speed. I mean, even my nephew, my 16-year-old nephew today, we were on the range. I mean, he's been playing 5 years, maybe 4 or 5 years. He's swinging it at 125, 130, and
Is that
just
a joke?
hitting bombs.
And
Yeah,
he has a six-pack, apparently. I hate this
He's
kid.
16. He's swinging at 125.
yeah. I mean,
What's
he's
his
got
name?
crazy speed. Tyler,
Tyler, I
Joyce.
hate you.
Jesus.
I'm so jealous of everything.
And he's got a
you.
6-pack?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sounds
I mean,
like
he's
Mulder's
Probably has
kid.
beautiful hair.
Is Mark
Yeah, he
Mulder the
does.
dad?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, he's got crazy speed and he loves the game, and so I mean, who knows?
Can he
Well,
play?
Yeah, I mean, he's getting a lot better. He hasn't been playing long, and he's getting better at a very quick rate.
Well, you
Listen
said
to Uncle
earlier,
Chez.
you're like I'd be lying if I said I wasn't doing things to try to increase my speed. What are you doing right now?
Yeah,
Are
so
is
I've
that
got
something
this-
you're consciously trying to do?
Yeah, I mean, with some technique, but a lot of it's just literally getting my mind out of it that I just need to swing as hard as I can. I mean, that's a lot of it. I'm so used to swinging one way on a golf course and kind of controlling it to where you got to kind of get past that and not be afraid to hit it offline and just swing faster.
How much more do you have in the tank? Like from your normal cruiser speed, which your cruiser speed is pretty much as automatic as anybody's out there. But if you were like, all right, Chez Reavie really wants to hit one, how much more you got in there?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, we're trying to figure that out right now. Not a whole lot. I mean, I'll just kind of swing normal and it'd be like 111, 112. And then I feel like I swing as hard as I can and it might get to 113 or
Yeah,
114.
112.5.
See, that's what
That's
I'm-
the same my shit too.
I'm
dude.
104 and I swing out of my shoes and 105. I'm
Yeah,
like, oh, that was cool.
I got the same.
Sometimes it's even slower.
I got
Yeah,
the
exactly.
same.
And you're like, I don't understand, because you'll see some people like Charlie Hoffman. I mean,
That's a great
he was
example.
swinging 114, and then he does some TPI stuff. Now he's swinging 127, 128.
That's what I told you on
we
the
were
radio
just talking
today.
about that today. That's 10 miles an hour is. I mean, I don't know if people understand how big of a jump that you could work years and years and not
But
get.
that's one thing that's cool with the technology where this really helps, like the TPI. I mean, you see 3D motion stuff, you see how your body works, and you're like, oh, well, my hips don't turn at all on the way back. If I turn this, I pick up 6 miles an hour, stuff like that. And pick the left heel up a little bit.
Yeah.
Love
it's
that
really
left
cool.
heel.
You love
I'm
the
still,
left
I'm
heel?
still
I
waiting
want
for
my
that to
left
happen to
heel to
me.
go
Yeah, I've tried all that stuff, and it doesn't matter.
I always try the
for
left
me.
heel. All I do is hit it like shit, but I feel like I want to be a left heel guy. I'm an old school guy. What are you doing like workout wise? Like, technology's changed everything and now people can use all this stuff. Are you doing anything fitness wise to try and keeping up?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of core stuff, a lot of rotational core stuff. I mean, I don't think any of it's really revolutionary. We're mixing it up a little bit to where we'll lift heavy a little bit and then do some speed stuff to try and get those muscles to just move faster, even being stronger. So, I mean, who knows? Hopefully it works. I mean, I'm trying. I've got those speed sticks. I'm swinging, doing all those drills with that to try and pick up some speed. But the big thing for me is I can't change a bunch of technique to get speed, because then I'll lose accuracy, and I can't afford to do
Why
that.
would you change technique when you hit 13 and a half fairways around and 16 and a half greens.
All right. Well, I hate talking about working out, so we're going to change the subject.
Colt,
So,
what do you do? Tell us how you did it.
You're in the field in Augusta in November. Okay. Say Chez Reavie were to go on to win the Masters. I want to know the Champions Dinner menu for Chez Reavie. And I know you're a big wine guy, so we need specific bottles.
I think Chateau Margaux would be my way.
Sounds
I
fancy.
know they've got everything.
What do you think, Colt? You like that? What year?
I don't even know. I would let them handle that at Augusta. They know a lot more about that stuff than I do.
If you want it. Yeah.
What'd be Chez's meal, you think?
Meal, I don't know. It's hard because, I love food. I love steaks, but I love fried chicken as well. So that would be a tough decision.
You make incredible ribs. I've had them.
Yeah, I love the smoked food. I love barbecue food. Yeah, I love doing all that stuff. But honestly, I'd probably end up going with steak just because I love steak.
I've got a great idea. You go win the Masters, and then me and Sleaze will be like your taste testers.
There we go.
You throw a few menus together.
Yeah.
We'll tell you which one we like.
But you're a little sommelier too.
Absolutely.
Tell you what pairs well with what. When you look, you got back-to-back majors at Augusta coming up. What do you think the difference will be? So much speculation, but a November Masters, what does that look like?
Honestly, I have no idea. Knowing Augusta, it's going to be in perfect shape. It doesn't matter what the weather is going to do. For some reason, they can just always get it in awesome shape. But I really have no idea what it's going to be like there in November.
Is that something you're like, knowing that golf course is a beast and it favors longer hitters? Is that something you'll like ramp up this speed stuff heading into that?
Yeah, I'm going to work on it hard. Honestly, I'll probably add another hybrid in my bag so I can, I'll probably have a 3 and 4 hybrid in my bag just so I can hit it as high as I can from the fairways, hopefully. But there's no telling.
Colt has a piece of shit 4 hybrid that I hate a lot. Maybe you can borrow that. It comes in like a 9 iron.
Hopefully I can hit it as straight as he
It
is.
is beautiful.
Yeah.
Made a couple tweets with it today. Don't worry.
Frankie.
Frank? No.
What's it called?
It's Gary, but it's Frankie.
Yeah, but it's Frankie. Yeah,
It's got Gary on it. But being in November with nobody hardly playing there, no one knows what to expect. I feel like it's probably the most wide open Masters of any of them.
Yeah, for sure. Nobody's going to know what to expect. They can make the greens firm and fast. It doesn't matter what time of year it is there. So, we're just going to go there and try and figure it out like everybody else.
Do you look good in green?
I do.
Oh, baby. Let's get it going. Sleazy? E9 or you got anything?
No,
else?
I got a little bit more.
Okay,
I want to ask you about you've had some injury issues that have gone on. 2014, you had the season-ending wrist injury, right? And the doctors told you there was a 50-50 chance that this thing could take or it could not take. What was it like sitting there thinking you're waiting to heal, you're in a cast, and you're like, there's 50% of the time I might not be able to even come back and play golf. How hard is that to just sit there and not be completely out of your hands?
Yeah, it's brutal. In 2011, I had knee surgery. I had my ACL. I torn my ACL, so I had that fixed. But that was easy because I started rehab right away, and you knew it was going to get better. Just so many people have had the surgery. Whereas my wrist surgery, it was like, look, people have come back from this, and some people haven't. There's no guarantee you might be better, and then a month in, just make one swing and tear it again, and we got to start over. So being in a long arm cast for that long and not knowing if it's actually healing or better, that was brutal.
And you had wrists, you got ACL going on at the same. Like, are you secretly like some MMA underground fighter? Like, where are all these injuries coming from? You play Call of Duty and you play golf. I don't know. Like, how are you blowing out ACLs?
Yeah, so I tore my ACL in high school. We used to play tackle football every Sunday. And it was funny. We played for like 6 months, and I never got hurt. And then my dad's like, "What are you doing on Sundays? Where are you going?" And I was like, "Well, we play football." He's like, "You're an idiot. You're gonna get hurt." And I was like, "Dad, I've been playing for 6 months, haven't gotten hurt." That Sunday, I tore my ACL.
Oh, God.
Perfect.
Well, I'm kind of thinking, maybe that wrist surgery, they made you kind of like rookie of the year, a little fat, because
you
didn't get the fast twitch, but you got the stable one where you hit it dead straight every single time. Because you're known, at least I heard from Charlie Hoffman, the Seagull. He calls you the par 3 assassin.
Yeah,
because you have a ridiculous amount of hole-in-ones. Tell the people how many hole-in-ones
this is a
does Chez Reavie have?
23 hole-in-ones.
Jesus.
23 hole-in-one. And by the way, how many hole-outs on the PGA Tour do you have? You went to Hawaii a few years ago.
3 in one round.
3 in one round.
I was playing that week, and every 5 minutes on the board it said Chez Reavie makes eagle, and I'm like, that's another par 4. What the hell is going on here? Is there a typo?
It was a joke.
Yeah. So 23 hole-in-ones.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. And
I don't think I've had a drink off of one of those.
When was the last time you holed out on a par 4?
You sent me pictures that you had, but fortunately you didn't actually charge my account.
We're going to start charging these things. They come so often.
It's getting real.
How many hole? When was the last time you had a hole out on a par 4?
I don't know.
For eagle.
Dude, I drink a lot. I don't remember these things.
Years. Chez throws 3 in one round.
Yeah.
If you did 3 in a year, I feel like that would be
It's really devastating when you're also playing at the same time and you're like probably 2 over par.
Yeah, that's right.
He's holding out every other hole.
That's right. That's
right.
absolutely right.
Well, let's get to the E9 because this is some fun stuff.
Okay.
You go with
yeah,
that?
let's get to it. Yeah. I was gonna get into a little Call of Duty with you right now.
Well,
you got
this
something
coming.
to touch on that?
Yeah.
All right, we'll elaborate on some of these. All right, you fire it off first, Colty.
All right, we asked this to everyone. Movie made about the life of Chez Reavie. Who plays you? You can pick any actor.
I'd have to say Tom Cruise probably because he's about my height.
Jesus.
We just went straight off.
How's
height.
your ego, bro?
Yeah,
I can't say Brad Pitt or Matthew McConaughey. They're all
this
too tall.
humility was a fake.
I gotta pretend like I have a six pack.
And your dog's named Maverick.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Top
after the
Gun,
man
favorite
himself.
movie.
Yeah, all right.
I didn't have any.
Who'd you have for him?
I could do like Paul Rudd for him.
Oh, that's actually, I was asking my
Paul
wife today. I was like, yo,
Yeah.
who should I pick for Chez's
Yeah.
actor?
Paul
She
Rudd
said
would be
Paul
mine.
Rudd. I said no. And then I went with, let me see his name. Daniel Radcliffe. You know who that is?
Yep.
Who is he?
He's a Harry Potter guy. Right?
Yeah, he's the wizard from Harry Potter
Yeah.
because you're a ball striking wizard.
There you
It's
go.
supposed to be what he looks like, not what he does.
Somewhat similar, dude. He's got dark hair and he's a wizard. What's the difference?
All right, next question.
Okay, all right, my turn now. All right, who was president the last time you hit a provisional? Is that like Bush's first term, the older Bush's first term? I mean, dude, seriously, when was the last time you hit a provisional?
I want to say last week, but I don't think I hit a provisional.
No, there's no
last week.
chance.
There's
you
no
shipped
way
one
you'd
at
have
Winged Foot
yeah.
unless the rough swallowed it.
Yeah.
I'm talking like maybe that's out of bounds provisional.
Can you think back to a time you hit it out of bounds on the PGA Tour?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I mean, I hit it pretty straight, and I've got one that
I hit one out of bounds this year at Hilton Head.
Did you? What hole?
On the first hole, I blocked and it hit the car
That hole's
path
a demon.
and went into the backyard. It's like
That
way
hole
down.
is
my
a
God.
demon.
Yeah.
That number one, that Harbor Town gives people fits.
Yeah, I pushed it over those tree branches, and then it flew too far, hit the car path, and went into their backyard.
Jesus, nice
Happens.
drive, Chez.
Yeah, sorry.
Chop.
All right.
Tighten it up, bro.
Number 3. If Chez Reavie wasn't a professional golfer, what would he be?
Man, that's a good question.
You had to be contemplating
If I
that
said-
for a while during old Mr. Hand injury.
Thought about it. I just didn't come up with a whole lot of answers.
Golf coach.
Yeah, no, I'm probably not a golf coach. I don't know, man. Maybe an MMA fighter.
Yeah,
A lot
you
of
got
hostility
the
built up
injuries for
inside
it.
there,
Yeah, maybe a professional gamer.
No, I'm not good enough at that. I'm not a good enough fighter though either, so that can't be.
I'm not good at fighter though either.
Yeah.
So.
Now that I think about it, I'd
Yeah.
be fucked.
Yeah.
All right. Phoenix Open, guy. We actually already talked about the Phoenix Open. If it happens, which is being talked about, what's your walk-up song going to be on number 16 at the Phoenix Open?
Walk-up song. Welcome to the Jungle. Guns N' Roses, probably.
Oh, okay. You are
I thought
an
you'd
old
pick hip hop.
metal guy.
You like your hip hop
I like
too.
hip hop too, but yeah, I like kind of everything. I'm even getting into country nowadays. The
Hell
last
yeah,
couple
that
of
boy.
years.
Yeah,
Bring it.
You're
Bring it
morphing.
to country music.
You're morphing. Cole, what would yours be? Because you might get a sponsors. We might get a sponsors. Play best ball.
Something Garth Brooks.
Thunder.
For sure.
Was it
Garth?
Thunderstruck by Garth Brooks or whatever?
No,
What's the
that's
name of that song?
the Thunder Rolls. That's too
Thunder
slow.
Rolls.
You have to be like
Thunder Rolls.
Baton Rouge.
There you go.
Get Fleener to come out and sing
Sing
for
sing
you.
it. I just want Fleener to sing it for
Yeah,
me.
all right.
Yeah,
that
I
would
heard
work.
that. I actually heard him do that in New Orleans. We played with
He's
him.
fantastic.
It's unbelievable. He's so good.
He just if we're walking down a street, like say in Nashville, and there's a karaoke bar, his body just goes right to it. It's ridiculous,
It's like a dog.
And-
All right, over here, over here.
and it works. By the way, I
found
It's
it.
incredible.
Yeah.
You mentioned Call of Duty. I know you're big into it. You got your man cave downstairs at your house. Can't imagine what your new man cave is going to look like. I can't wait, actually.
It's a man palace.
But it's also very popular on the PGA Tour. Bryson DeChambeau's been known to talk about it a lot. Harold Varner III. Where do you think you would rank on the PGA Tour in Call of Duty?
Man, I don't know. I'd definitely be top 5, top 10 for sure. I mean, I don't know how much those guys play. When I was hurt with my wrist injury, that's when I really got into it. I haven't played as much lately, so I'd have to play a little bit, but I'd definitely be up there.
What's your name?
Yeah, what's your whatever it's called?
Maverick.
Tag name?
Maverick.
What is it?
Maverick.
Is it just straight Maverick?
Who did we
Yeah.
ask that had something weird?
Oh, Jeff Ogilvy.
Jeff
You got to
Ogilvy.
get Ogilvy. Dude, I can't remember what it
I
was.
can't
It's
either.
something,
It's something
super
weird.
weird as hell. He plays it. He just drinks wine and plays with his boys down in Australia. You might have to get on a weird time to catch him in Australia, but he's Rom's big into it too, dude.
Oh,
There's a
yeah.
whole pack.
Rom's really
Is there
good.
like a pack of like, all right,
I've
you're
never
PGA
played it.
Tour guys, let's all link up and be on the same team?
Yeah, you know who also is really good is Keegan Bradley's caddy. He plays probably more than anybody.
Oh, Machine Gun Chad.
Chad, he's
Yeah.
unbelievable, and his kid's even better than he is.
Of course.
Yeah,
The game,
When
it's
your
hot.
nickname's Machine Gun Chad, you're probably good at killing people in video games.
yeah.
Yeah, Machine Gun. That's a good name for that. All right, next question. We've been fluffing you a lot about your ball striking here today. I don't want you to get too big of a head. What's the worst shot you can ever remember hitting on tour?
Worst shot. Okay, so this is my.
Yes, you have one.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, there was a lot of shots.
I hit a
involved
wedge
in
on the
this.
fringe once, and I wanted to kill myself.
No, so it was my first year turned pro. I got a sponsor spot in Vegas, and I was leading after 2 days. And I was like top 20 going into Sunday, and I got to 16, in Vegas, and I think I made like a 12. I went for the green in 2, hit it in the water, dropped, spun it back in the water, dropped, spun it back in the water, dropped, spun it back in the water. I think I hit 5 balls in the water. I don't know exactly what the score was, but it was like a 12 or a 13 or whatever. And I actually had my first golf nightmares after that. Same spot, I was in the drop area, and I got all the way up to a 4-iron. I just smash it, go right to the end of the lake, and then just drop straight in the water.
Golf nightmares. Welcome. Nice to have you aboard the Golf Nightmare. Did you ever think about just maybe hitting one more club?
No, yeah, I did actually.
After
and
like
I chunked one in the water, and then
My other question was going to be, when's the last time you shanked one?
Shanked one.
Do you have any shanks?
Shank it.
Not that I can recall. I don't think I've hit a shank on tour. Yeah.
I knew you wouldn't.
I actually whiffed one this year in Boston.
Oh, there we go. Now you're becoming relatable.
Like a chip, you went underneath it?
Yeah, so it was the 4th hole, I believe, the drivable par 4. And I hit it over the green just into the rough, and it was sitting real high in the rough, and I was trying to hit a flop shot, and I just went right under it, and it just buried in the divot underneath the ball.
Did you say that was a practice swing?
Yeah, dude.
No.
Was there any cameras around?
Come on, you got to
just
fake
brush
it.
that off. Like, all right, guys, I'm going to come up. Is anyone else going?
Yeah, I couldn't fake it. I was laughing too hard because I just looked up and then looked down. It was there, and I backed off and just started laughing because I just couldn't believe I had done it.
Nothing wrong with a little whiff, dude. You haven't played golf yet and whiffed.
Yeah.
All right, number 7. You've been on tour a long time, 13 years. You've been through Tim Fincham, Jay Monahan. Say you're next up, Commissioner Chez. What's the first thing you're changing to the PGA Tour?
First thing I'm changing to the PGA Tour.
It can be a rule of golf. It can be something.
Miss fairway 2-shot penalty.
Yeah, exactly, right? I think the first rule change would be moving the balls out of divots in the middle of the fairway.
See,
Great rule.
That's
I do
a
it
very
anyways.
Popular rule. I agree with. My thing is just everyone's going to be like, oh, that's a divot. Oh, that's a divot.
Yeah, no, it has to be a very defined divot. It can't be just
You're the
sitting down
judge.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Bryson be down there saying, well, this particle of grass is going this way.
What
and
about
this one's
ants?
going this way. So
You
that's
get rid of
definitely
those
a divot.
pesky ants, too. Those killer ants that are out there. You got to get drops from. All right, no divots. That's a good rule. I'm already doing that, so I'm ahead of my time. All right, here we go. What do you think is the easier job? Caddying for you or being Dustin Johnson's sports psychologist?
The easier job.
I mean, York, we love York, but like, let's say he doesn't have to do a whole lot. Hey, Chez, there's the hole. You should hit it at it, and then give me 10%.
Yeah. I think being Dustin's sports psychologist would be easier. I mean, he doesn't seem to overanalyze things, and if he plays bad, he just plays bad, and then he wins the next week. It doesn't seem to sink in with him, so I don't think that'd be a very tough job.
Yeah, he's got the perfect brain for golf. Perfect.
He shoots 80, 80, 78, and then goes win second, win second.
Yeah, I mean,
Reverse, man. It's
he's
just
perfect for golf.
Hey, you might have a penalty here as you're leading the U.S. Open. Just keep playing. We'll tell you a little bit later. We'll tell you later if you're still winning or not, but we don't really know yet.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's
okay,
just
I'll
like,
just do that.
Right.
No one
Whereas
else
me,
would do that
I
in
would
the
crumble. That would.
I'd be like, nope.
gosh,
I'm
I'd
gonna
still be sitting there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sit
Give me this
Indian
penalty.
style
Yep.
till y'all tell me what my score is right now.
All right. Put your thinking cap on. You ready? This is number 9. I call it CPR. Okay? You got a caddy. One of us is going to caddy for you for a year. You get to punch one of us in the face, and you have to room with one of us for a year. So caddy, punch, room, CPR. Me, Sleaze, Scott Harrington. Go.
That's easy.
If you punch
Oh,
me,
God,
I'm gonna kill your ass.
Wait, he said this is easy. I'm nervous.
Okay, yeah. You didn't even think. All right, go.
All right, Slee's gonna caddy for me, and I'm definitely punching Scotty.
Yes!
Oh, yes. And you're rooming with him.
That's fine.
And you sleep like a little baby.
Yeah.
It's like the perfect situation for me.
That's
Harrington's
the
getting
right
punched.
answer,
That's,
dude.
You said that
that's
was gonna be
100% the right answer. Well done.
yeah.
Dude, by the way, I'm nails on the bag. You ever need me? If I can caddy for anyone on tour, it's your ass. I'll be like, yeah, dude, wedge, here you go. Make another tweet. Daddy needs a new pair of shoes.
I love it. Well, Chez, that was a lot of fun, man. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, guys, thanks for
Absolutely.
having me.
Thank you, Chester.
And that was the great Chez Reavie. So much fun to talk to him. Talking to a guy like that who, in a game of bomb and gouge now, golf, a guy that still is, he works his way around the golf course. He can't overpower places. It's cool to get his insight on how the game of golf is right now.
Yeah, especially coming off a place like Winged Foot where you would think his type of game would be the perfect game for a place like that. And then speaking on what Bryson went and did, it was cool to get the insight of somebody who was actually there and could speak about the setup. And because of all the speculation about what Bryson did, or do you like seeing that? He was actually there. And I feel like every player that we've spoken to after the U.S. Open has like the utmost respect for what Bryson did and gives him a lot of credit for it, where it's like the media is like, this is horse shit. You shouldn't be able to play a U.S. Open that way, and it's not what it's all about.
Yeah, he did it a different way. But like you said, it's cool talking to Chez, who was actually there and can vouch for what Bryson did. It's just he played the golf course the way Bryson's supposed to play the golf course, and he overpowered it, and he won. But, man, Chez, I tip my hat to him all the time. Coming from a guy who obviously doesn't hit it very far either. I respect what Chez has done in his career so much, because it is harder for guys like that to win and compete, and for a guy like that just to stay out there year after year and compete. He went on in 2019. He went on a crazy run. Finished third at the U.S. Open, had other wins the next week at the Travelers. It's just it's so cool to see what he's done with his career.
Yeah, and also it's so easy. You know you were out there and you were obviously not the longest guy. When I was playing, I was kind of average, and I just played with guys that were super long, and I'd be like, man, if I could just hit it long. It's easy to get sucked into the distance trap. Like, if I could just gain some more, you know what I mean, and get away from what you do well, trying to chase these distance guys. Ches really doesn't do it. He said he's trying to gain a little bit of mile per hour, club head speed right now, but he's not out there trying to be something that he's not. And he's like, I'm gonna hit every fairway or most of them. I'm gonna hit every green or most of them. And when I putt well, I'm gonna have weeks like I did last year at Hartford, and I can still win on this tour doing it the way I do. So it's cool to see like a throwback guy in a game where pretty much the guys at the top of the leaderboard every week are guys that just send it.
And also very good news that he chose to punch Scott Harrington and not you or I.
That was good. I was good.
A big fan
we
of
were
that.
going to end the show right there if that answer came out incorrectly and never have him back. So, yeah, he made the right choice.
I love it. Thanks to Ches for sitting down with us. But, Sleaze, we got some big news to tell everybody out there.
This is large.
Let's hear it. I'm going to let you do the honors.
All right, I'll launch it here. For the first time since inception, Golf Subpar will be going on the road. We've been trying to get this done for a while. We had some trips lined up tentatively. Some were booked, some were not. COVID happens. Boom, the whole world gets wiped out. We haven't been able to get on the road. This week, we will be leaving. We'll be heading to the great state of Texas and Dallas for arguably some of our biggest guests we've ever had on this show. And we've had some good ones on this show.
First off, I'm really surprised they're letting us out of our cage.
Correct.
And second off, I can't believe a few of these guys are sitting down with us to talk to us either, but it's going to be great.
It'll be weird.
We'll just tell y'all. We're bringing
launch
it.
These names.
We're bringing it. We got the great golf instructor, Chris Como, coming live from his house in his golf studio.
The architect of the Bryson Project.
Works with Bryson DeChambeau. We got a little quarterback coming on, quarterback/broadcaster, Tony Romo. Might have heard of him.
Old number 9 will be on Golf Subpar, right where he belongs. If he doesn't clam up in front of the mic.
And then one last special guest, man who's won a green jacket, the golden child, Jordan Spieth. Can you believe it?
No, not really. Honestly, I know we're like friends with some of these guys, but it's still to give us an hour plus of their time to sit down and do it. We're going on the road. This is what you got to do when you're the hardest working man in showbiz, like we are. And this is going to be an unbelievable trip, man. To get all 3 of these guys to sit down with this has the potential to be some of the best shows we've done so far. And I think that's saying something with some of the guests we've had on. So I am hyped on it, and hopefully we get them loosened up a little bit and get into some things that we may not have heard before.
Yes, I cannot wait. It's going to be fun. I'm so glad we're going on the road. Back to my home city.
Yes,
Dallas.
dude. I expect the parade to be waiting upon arrival.
Red carpet.
See that statue out there at Royal Oaks? I got to see what that bronze face looks like. I'm going to deface the shit out of that thing somehow. I'm going to put bird feet all over your face and let the birds come in and do what they do.
You do what you got to do, Sleaze.
That's all right.
But I cannot wait. Really appreciate everybody for agreeing to sit down with us. It's going to be a lot of fun. And that's going to do it for us. We'll talk to you on next week's Golf Subpar.